Coming up in today's video, guys, we've got some deep keratin plugs for you, and we've also got some really sticky wax as well as our second patient as well. My name is Rhys Barber. I'm one of the audiologists here at Audiology Associates. Thanks for watching our video again today, guys, and welcome any new viewers as well. It's always lovely to get new viewers. So this particular patient, you can see we've got some rock solid, tough as all boots, plugs of keratin in this particular ear canal. Now, this patient has been using some cotton buds. They're self-confessed cotton bud users. And the reason they say they do it is because their ear canals become so itchy. So they feel that sort of relief when they use cotton buds. It's kind of counterproductive because the reason it's feeling so itchy is because the canal is so dry. So the skin is drying out. When you're using a cotton bud, you're drying that even further, but you do get a temporary scratch, which for some patients feels really nice. If you are a patient like that and you want to get that deep scratch, better way of doing it, close off the outer part of the ear canal, wiggle it up and down as hard as you can, and that will give you a really deep scratch inside the ear canal without putting a cotton bud in there. So the other thing you'd say is if you've got dry canals like this particular patient here, you would be using some olive oil on a regular basis just to help out with that dryness, with that itching as well. Now, back to the removal, because I've gone off topic a little bit. This is really tough because you can see as it's been pushed in by the cotton bud, it's squished this and plastered it all over the canal walls. So now we've got this super deep plug that's perfectly molded to the shape of the canal. So a really difficult old one to get out here. And you can see I've switched from the fine end now to the standard sized Zollner tube. Now that's the much wider, if this is the first time you're watching these types of videos, this is the much wider of the two tubes, and because we get a better suction grip. I couldn't peel it away, so I've had to pull it straight down, and the only way I was going to get to do that is by using this thicker, or wider I should say, sorry, suction tube. So I've got it to the outer portion of the ear canal, but it doesn't want to come out easily, so I've got to negotiate this outer portion of the ear canal, little bit of wiggling back and forth. There we go, just turning it ever so slightly. You can see just how smooth the underside of that keratin plug is, and that is because this has just been pushed up against the eardrum and the canal wall. So patient having real difficulties hearing with that in there. I was just taking away some of these drier pieces, and you can see that eardrum there has a very matte appearance to it, and that's normally a good indication that that sort of epithelial migration, that movement of skin cells from the eardrum down to form the ear canal wall skin, isn't quite happening here. So definitely some olive oil moving forward for this patient. Exactly the same problem here in the other ear canal as well. Don't forget, guys, if you do enjoy the videos, you can always like, heart, share, follow, and subscribe for me. If you super duper absolutely think they're amazing, you could also become a member of the channel if you wanted to as well. We're still putting free content out at the same time every single bit of the week. Look at this coming away here. That plug came away really easily. That came away so much better than the other side. But yeah, if you do have ear problems yourself, make sure you check out the link tree in the description. You can book yourself an appointment with myself or the lovely Mr. Taylor Green, who will, I promise, be back for the next video. We were supposed to be together today because of but unfortunately the way the bank holidays fell, it means we're not together, but we are together, I promise, come hell or high water for the next lot of videos. So we've got 1.5 centimeters, ½ an inch there, guys. You can see how they're perfectly formed as well. They look a bit like candy corn, just to run on the thread of spoiling everybody's favorite food types. But this particular one here, oh, if you did enjoy that video and you watched it on YouTube, I will put a card up in the corner as well, so you can check out another video that's similar to the one you just watched. Now this is a much thicker, stickier, total opposite end of the spectrum here of wax. Now I would say this is probably my least favorite wax removal to do, this particular type. Or I did promise that a lovely young lady came through the clinic in Cardiff the other day, who unfortunately didn't have any wax, we couldn't make it on, but watches the channel. I promised I would give Penny a shout out. So hi Penny, it was lovely to see you. I did promise I would do it, and there you go, there's your shout out as well. So we're just taking this really sticky wax away. Let's give this a bit of a lift. You can see how this is peeling down. Probably one of my least favorite ones to do, just because the peel you have to get on these, everything is super duper sticky. It doesn't want to come easily. It fights you every millimeter of the ear canal, this particular type of wax. There we go, that's coming out as well. Oh, just an update as well. We did a video the other day saying about the Rhys tools, yes, and how I found the St. Bart's version of that Rhys tool, really, like that sort of ear hook, a really, really good one. I actually went back and I tried the Jobson Horn version of the Rhys tools, and I've got to be honest, I found a different way of holding it. I found that it did actually, it was because it was a little bit of a smoother and flatter edge on it, I did find it useful. Now that video is coming out, I haven't edited yet, but that's coming up soon as well, so you'll be able to see that one. So I did actually find a way, because I'm a bit more awkward because I hold my tools completely differently to every other audiologist out there. Just, I don't know, it's the way I've always found it more comfortable to use the tools. Everyone else finds it really uncomfortable, but for me it works really well. So yeah, that's why I was finding it a bit difficult. I found a slightly different way of holding it now, which actually works quite well for me. So I will put that video up real soon as well, so you can see that one, because lots of people are saying, you need to try it, you need to try it, you need to try it. And I was a bit like on the fence about this one particular tool, but I did actually find it quite useful the other day. So make sure you stay tuned for that one coming out soon. So we're just getting this sticky type of wax out now. It's all coming away really, really well. Last little tiny bit. So the fine ends on here, just to nip down and grab this last little piece. There we go. Considering how sticky that was, I expected this to look a far messier canal than it actually was. You can see we just had that last little teeny weeny bit there to get away. So I'm just going to go in and grab that piece now. But I expected it to be far more remnants. You do find with these really sticky or wet wax removals, you will get bits that are just so thin, they're really difficult, or they would be really uncomfortable to remove from the patient's ear canal. You see this piece here just does not want to budge. I'm on top of this and it's just super sticky. Let's see if we can, I'm just clipping the edge of it there with a fine edge. It's a bit of an awkward angle to get up into this top section here for the right kind of angle. There we are. Oh my goodness me, that does not, it probably took us longer to get this piece out than it did to get the rest out. There you go. Eardrum looking really healthy, but very, very similar story on the other side. But there is a little gap there, so I can see part of the eardrum as well. So we're just gonna lift this up. Oh, there we go. A little bit more crumbly. Now I always describe this particular consistency of wax. It's almost like a sugar butter mix. You know, when you what do they call it? Oh my goodness! I used to do loads of baking with my mum years ago. When you cream the butter, when you get that kind of, and you get that sort of consistency where you get that sort of that sugar butter mix, and it's sort of soft but granulated at the same time. That's this particular, oh my gosh, that took far too much brain power to try and work out how to say that. I'm sure somebody in the comments, as you always do guys, is going to come up with a phrase that's just bang on, exactly the way I wanted to describe it, and that's the phrase I was trying to think of. But it's coming away really, really well. I've had to introduce a little bit of olive oil into the canal just to stop this from sticking. So let's get this out. That comes. There we go. And just working, you can see we've got these almost segmented all the way down. We've got these kind of blocks of wax that are just coming all the way down the canal there with these little gaps in between. A little bit of a tidy up, a little bit of a hoover up here on the outside edge of the canal. And there we go, eardrum looking lovely. Just a tiny little bit. I just want to get this little bit. Patient's actually talking to me now, which is why the camera's moving around quite so much, because we're all finished. I'm just explaining what we're doing inside the ear canal. The patient's answering me back, which is why you're getting all that movement. But eardrum looking lovely. There's everything, as all those bigger segments you saw me take away as I was bringing about the canal. As you take the suction tube away, if they're quite loose, they just sort of all get sucked inside the machine. This was the only teeny tiny bit that was left. So what's that? It wasn't even a quarter, that's an eighth of an inch, so it's just under half a centimetre. Well guys, thank you so much for watching our video again today. If you did enjoy the video, you can always, like I said, heart, share, follow, subscribe for me. Thank you so much for doing that. Make sure you stay tuned for the next lot of videos coming up with myself, and the lovely Mr. Taylor Green will be back on your screens for the next video, I promise. But as always guys, take care of yourselves, take care of your ears, and take care of one another. And I'll see you again real soon. Bye everyone.